we think we're on top of the evolutionary ladder because we are kind of in this tunnel vision, in this spell, as you may say, of just perceiving 3D reality. So we think we're on top of the animal kingdom, we're like the highest evolved species and all of that, and in charge of everything. But this is not the truth, because there are other forces, energies, and beings interacting with us from a higher density, right? From a non-physical realm. And higher density beings, not all of them are good. There are some more tricky ones, and they are feeding off of us. Now, when I talk about humanity not being on top of the food chain, it's first of all nothing I came up myself. That's pretty much, when you study deeper all the different esoteric traditions, they talk about it in their own way, right? As well. And when I talk about food, I'm obviously not talking about physical food, but more frequency or certain emotions. There's certain beings that literally feed off of negative emotions, all kinds of drama. All the matrix frequency is actually based on fear, right? That's the underlying frequency. Most people are in fear. Most of us are in fear, which is any little fear you have is rooted in the fear of death. But the more we live in this fear frequency and get into drama, all the conflict we see out there, and negative emotions of just like anger projections or violence or animalistic lower expressions of sex, lust, all of that, which has also become normalized nowadays in society, or anything of that, these frequencies that they produce what Robert Monroe would say, certain loosh, right? So that's kind of what these beings feed off of, and they want to initiate that. That's why they initiate wars through us. They want us to be in conflict, fighting each other, projecting on each other, right? Because that triggered response is what we do, feeds them, it sustains them, right? Even Rudolf Steiner has this famous quote I've mentioned a few times from over 100 years ago, that all the anxiety in the world people have and experience and is what sustains these beings, and they want to initiate it through us. So ultimately, here's the thing from the higher perspective, from the hyperdimensional matrix control system perspective, it's not about what we think on a 3D level in terms of 3D level matrix of the World Economic Forum or the elite or whatever secret societies want to keep us enslaved, which is mostly maybe as power and money and control and all of that. Yeah, maybe on that level, but ultimately they want to keep us as a food source, right? To keep us in the lower realm, in the lower level of consciousness, to keep us identified with ego, especially our neurotic, wounded ego, and projecting our shadow and our wounds and traumas externally, fighting each other. And that kind of creates a certain, even anything from a small irritation up to like being very upset about something emotionally and projected externally, especially the victim blame trap, that feeds and sustains other forces. It's literally the divide and conquer from a hyperdimensional perspective. So the question is, as you may ask, how do we turn off the food source, right? So that's where the inner work comes in. That's exactly that, right? Because they can only get to us, as I mentioned before, if there's something within the response to it, when they can get a triggered response out of it. So when we get really upset at somebody and project all our hate, anger towards the, controllers, Bill Gates or Klaus Schwab or whoever, we think are in control out there, when we really project onto them really our hate and anger, that actually feeds them, sustains them even more, right? You know what? There's a great analogy I was thinking about the other day, the original Star Wars series. I'm talking about the first 3 ones, right? When Luke is fighting Darth Vader, and then the Emperor's there and like telling you, yeah, give into the anger, give me your anger, right? Yeah. Feed into that. That's exactly what these forces want. They want us to become extremely upset, angry, hateful. Even you see this with the left and right. I lean a bit more conservative, but there's a lot of issues on the conservative right. They project on the left. They literally hate them, right? And the left projects on the right. And it's this emotional illusion, this projection of this hate and anger sustains these forces. That's how they play and pit humans against humans. Now, I'm not implying a new age love and light cop out and like, oh, let's just get along. And, and this forced niceness that ties into spiritual bypassing, that's not working, because that suppression will also come out in different ways. You just suppress it and the shadow goes deeper within you. That ties into shadow work. No, we need to allow ourselves to feel these feelings, process them through the inner work, but not project it externally on somebody else.